The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezily soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we hit 2,600 on the S&P cash, and everybody's going to take a little time to pause and reflect. Got to 2601.19 for the high of the day. Volume's okay, a little less than it has been, a little bit more than it was. So for Tuesday, I'm actually thinking that volume's pretty good going in to what is, for the most part, a three-day weekend. Of course, we blew through the top after the Senate released a 500-page bill for the tax bill. Not exactly sure what's in it. I don't think I want to listen to anybody that tells me what's in it. It seems like everybody on all sides of the aisle has an axe to grind. I remember there's a joke somewhere along the thing, and I wish I could remember the joke, but the punchline really was this guy says on one hand, and then on the other hand, and yet on the third hand. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. I don't know what the effect of these are going to be. Didn't have time to go through it, but I will over the next few days. And again, probably won't look a whole lot like this when it gets through the Congress. So making too big a bets right now are kind of tough. But I think probably by Monday we're probably going to have at least some kind of an idea. I think anybody else that says that they've got an idea today is way premature. So I wouldn't be betting huge bucks on it. I think just the fact that they got anything through was amazing. And stock market kind of popped on that. So anyway, volume a little better. We got not much to get through tomorrow. Volume should be much lower. We got a little bit of Fed news tomorrow, but that's about it. Half day on Friday. I won't be here tomorrow or on Friday. In fact, TFNN is closed. But you know what? I think something's going to happen. I don't know if you're going to turn the faucet on and wash your hands, flip a light switch on, or just sit down in your big comfy chair, and you'll think that it's time to buy some Tiger Dollars and maybe check out one or both of my newsletters on the front page of TFNN. See how I did that? That's how you make the big bucks. Segways, not the little scooters, actually artfully going from one subject to another. I think I'm going to win the award on Segways this year. And, of course, dominate in the TFNN awards for both digression and Segways. But we all have to dream. Just read it, Dave, and don't play the deal. I don't understand. Anyway, what else do we have going on out here? That's about it. There's kind of quiet. We got a few stocks moving, and that's about it. We'll get into some other stuff. As always, like to start the show off with history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1995, the Dow Jones Industrial Average breaks through the 5,000 barrier for the first time, finishing the day at 5,023.55, just 9 months after the first closing above 4,000. Never before has a market milestone fallen so quickly, and even bullish analysts are astonished at the speed the markets rise. Of course, on this day in 1995, a scant 27 years ago, Seems only like yesterday, doesn't it? So let's go to some charts and look at some movement. Okay. One of the ones that's kind of interesting, everybody's been talking about marijuana stocks. There is only one marijuana stock that actually is legal, and that is GW Pharmaceuticals, actually a British company that has the license here in the United States. Been watching this one for a while. It's got a high at 136.95 back on March 3rd. What you do have is a big gap in that today. Volume is better than the August 7th high at 122.45. So you do have that gap today with 1.14 million shares. Not sure on the news on it. Haven't had a chance to look. But that would be it. You got the volume. Next high is 136.95. If you're looking for something to play out here for Christmas, maybe you get a little pullback in that. Handful of other stocks out here. Of course, overall, the market just kind of going a little higher. I wanted to look at some stocks that I had on my list. We have Ron in Denver. How are we going to go to Ron in Denver? How you doing, Ron? Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hello? Okay. Appreciate you taking my call. I wanted to talk to you about a small technology company called Resonant. It's Richard Edward Sam Nancy, RESN.
Okay.
And they make these RF filters, and my understanding, that they've got a new type of filter that's a big improvement, and they've just looking at the news, they've just signed up their fourth foundry partner on it, so they must be getting some momentum with it. Apparently, it's just the RF filters for your, for your iPhones and everything. And
right, cell phones.
I think these guys went public a few years ago at 14 or something like that.
Yeah. For those people that probably not familiar with RF filters, it sounds like maybe you are.
Well, no, not really. Just
okay.
I know there's filters. You need filters to kind of get your, my understanding, to get within your range of frequencies, so you can get a better reception.
Right. But what I was going to say about them is that in electronics they call them the black arts, because a lot of times it's not so much science as either intuition or just stumbling across a fairly decent answer that works.
I see.
So it's not one of these things where in digital electronics it's kind of easy to do what anybody else has ever done. When you get to RF, a lot of times things don't make sense. Very brilliant people out there know what's going on. I always kind of tell people that they say Dale Earnhardt Sr. could see the wind when he was out drafting at Daytona. If you could just make it into a science, then everybody could do it, right?
Right.
And that is kind of a little bit different about what you get into these. Now we're going to the break. Hopefully you can hang on. We'll talk a little more about this on the other side. But one of the things I like is when you can't do or duplicate what someone else has done. And we'll talk about why RF filters are kind of an interesting business.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. Hopefully we still have Ron in Denver on the line. You still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here, David. I was just wondering, this could be a pretty big market if what they have is apparently supposed to be, they could make it in half the time at half the cost, is what I've heard, or what I've read.
Yeah, and what's kind of important when you talk about digital stuff, a lot of times you can, if you're writing a patent, you can say, I'm do this thing first, this one second, this one third, this one fourth. A lot of times in software, you can just do them out of order and invalidate the patent. Normally, when you're talking about analog things like these filters or filter design, it doesn't work if you do the things out of order. And that's why the patents tend to stick pretty good. We talked about Qualcomm patents last week. But for this company, it would really kind of compete with RF micro devices, which ended up being part of Avago, getting wrapped up in that, if I'm not mistaken. So the question is whether or not what they do is defendable in their patents, and that's where you probably, if you're talking about this in the long term, you probably want to dig in a little bit farther. For what they've done here, I'm just reading the news, design of filters for radio frequency that specializes in delivering designs for difficult bands and complex requirements. It's showing something here. And doing stuff. So they're really an alternate, but it doesn't give you enough stuff out here to tell you where they're trying to compete. Are they trying to compete in less expensive phones, in all phones?
Could it be a buyout target for companies like Avago and so forth?
Well, it certainly could, especially companies like Avago don't like competition. They're all like Qualcomm and Avago. They're all just buying up each other's companies and getting huge patent portfolios to make sure no one else comes in and gives them. So the question is, how good is it? It looks like it's interesting. They've got a big dog and pony the December's 5th through the 7th. You got if you just look at the chart today, you got a valid break of at least a while for the, let's go back here a little bit, back to this huge gap down that came on 1.7 million shares. That goes back to, what is this, April 6th of 2015. So you're just closing that gap. I do like the way this thing kind of went sideways for a very long time. You're breaking above that. Your next resistance level comes in at about $7.40. If you can break through that, then you've got $14.47. Question is it just a trade, or you're looking at investing in this longer term?
No, I'm looking for a trade, but I'd like to, see a possibility if anybody might buy it out in the meantime while you're waiting for your trade.
Yeah, on this one, you're probably never going to know because the stock will just bounce $10, and you won't, unless you're sitting in it, you won't know it. I don't know whether or not this thing would be a buyout, whether or not it really competes with that. That's where you have to dig in a little bit further to find out. I think you've got a nice pop here. The next resistance level is $6.76, and then you get up to about $7.40. This time of year,
I just wondered, of course, I don't know, was it $14 after the offering? I wonder why it fell out of bed so much.
A lot of times these new startups have to spend a lot of cash to get something out the door. And if you went back through it, my guess is that some of the shares that were out there at the very beginning got pumped back out to get more cash so that they could build this new device. What I was going to say, though, is normally when you've got a big dog and pony and they're demonstrating a new product, it gives you a little bit of wind underneath your wings for a while. And normally, if this is kind of a trade, you would think about selling it on the news. And that news is going to be December 5th through the 7th. So I think you've got a little bit of a trade here. Let's see if anybody's shorting this stock, if I can pull it up here. And you may get a little bit more wind at your back. Because I do like this. I didn't know about this or hear about it before. But there are some decent ones. Well, I tell you what.
Well, that sounds positive. They had 4 new foundries sign up, or their 4th foundry sign up. That's positive, I assume.
Well, just because people make it doesn't mean they're going to sell it.
Yeah, okay.
It's more important whether people buy it or license it from them. And you don't really, from what I read in the news things here, I didn't see whether or not they're licensing it or they're just selling the chips themselves. But it sounds like if foundries are setting up, they're probably licensing it, which means that they don't really have a lot of expenses now that they developed it. So, they can be some nice little rockets out here. What I was going to say is that yesterday, 23% of the trades were initiated as short trades. So you got a nice bounce out here. You got this through it. This thing for the last week or so has been anywhere from 20 to 36% short. So I think you got probably some short covering here today, but I think that short covering could take you on a market that just even goes sideways back up to 676. At that point, you'll probably find out a little bit more. But I would look at above that 676 and that dog and pony show they're going to have on the 5th and 7th through the 7th of December.
Okay. Appreciate that.
You can kind of sit through that for a little while generally on these. I will take a look a little bit more about this, and I won't be here tomorrow, but I will talk. I'll put this on my list, and we'll talk about it next Monday.
All right.
Good enough?
Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. It is a low volume stock. Somebody that did popped out. So, but a lot of these stocks, they're pre-product in electronics are like that. So just beware out there. but it is a low volume stock. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. And you can also always call me at 877-927-6648. And email me at path@tfnn.com. To question. Okay. Let's go through some other ones out here that I'm looking at. Okay, American Eagle Outfitters. I'm going to talk about the XRT here in a minute, but kind of interesting to see some of the first decent chart patterns that even could be considered slightly bullish in clothing. This is back up to its resistance level from what, March 1st of this year. That day it came down on 20 million shares. You're back up into this yesterday with 3.5 million shares. This one's pulled back a little bit today, but we'll see. I'm going to talk about the retail and the retail.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as I was saying, just kind of interesting to see any kind of real bounce in this retail sector. If I'm back here again, just get a little closer. Here we are. Anyway, I was just looking at the XRT today, and you really had some fairly decent volume yesterday in compared to previous tops. It wasn't as good as you would like. You had, on Friday, you had almost 12 million shares, but didn't break the high. You actually did break the high yesterday, but again, it was on 5 million shares, but better than the 3.5 million shares on October 3rd when it hit there. You really wanted 7 million shares, which was the August 8th. But what I was really looking at is this November 8th low at 38.69 up to this high. There was fairly decent energy, and of course that huge bounce on Friday. So not as bearish as they have been in the past. So just, nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. A handful of these stocks are going to survive, and maybe the handful that are there are going to be stronger for the what doesn't kill you makes you stronger day. We also, I wanted to look at Workday. Just a company that I like the business plan and the CEO. I don't talk much about companies where literally the management is a big part of it. Mostly it's kind of hard to tell. Just that these guys were so good at what they did. Another new high out here for Workday. They're kind of like a paychecks company. They do a lot of the work that you would normally have a company do for payroll and human resources. They do that all. Basically, they let you do that in your office, but they manage all the software on the cloud, and you just supply a body to enter the data and tap out the results. So they do all the hard background work of compliance and everything else. I just always thought that this would be a kind of interesting company. It gave a little bit back off of its high today at 116.32, but making a new high. Got some more email questions here. Hang on just a second. I guess I closed it here. And the question was, I guess I'll summate the question. Good and bad patents. A lot of times patents are really good in the fact that you can keep people from importing products into the country. Sometimes patents are bad, and all they are is a big stick to beat your competition with. You're probably not going to win on them. They can get, a lot of times companies will go, well, Mr. Government, please take a look at this patent yet again. I think it's a bogus patent. And they'll really look at it and they'll go, yeah, probably should have never given them a patent the first time. Those kind of patents, especially at the big level of corporations, are just used to beat each other and drag each other through court for a long time. And sometimes get a look at what people are doing. If they can make people disclose people that they've hired, a lot of times it's just a big fishing expedition. Sometimes it's there to get the management looking somewhere else and not keeping their eye on the ball of running the company. And some people just make so many patents that nobody could ever get back in the business, whether the patents were all bogus or not. They just take them to court time after time after time and eventually run people out of that business. And so you kind of want to, if you're looking at patents, you kind of want to look at companies that use these things as a stick, and the other people that actually have ironclad patents that tend to rule the world. Rambus was one of those companies that had, for many years, the kinds of patents that defined all of memory. I'm trying to remember their saying, RMBS. And a lot of times, even if these guys have great patents, the other people will take them to court. But eventually, these guys prevailed, and forever, these guys get royalties. Eventually, those patents will kind of go out. But with the money that they have coming in, they buy more patents, and they bug these people incessantly. So it's kind of one of those things where it can almost be your view on the world, and that is one man's freedom fighter is another man's rebel or terrorist. So you kind of look at that. But even companies like Rambus, some of these other patent companies that have been around for a while. Now this one, when I looked at it a couple of days ago, I knew it was getting kind of close to the June 11th high of 2015 for Rambus. So $15.49, 1 million shares, 1.4 million shares. What do we got today? About 1 million shares. But yesterday, 1.2. I think the day before, 1.5 million shares. So we're kind of getting up to highs up here. And again, anybody that shorts these things going to have a hard time going through the end of the year. But that's it. To see if I got any other, man. Still wanted me to look at IBM again. I don't think it was doing anything when I looked across there earlier. Now it's just kind of bouncing around. Not much volume today on it. I still think 139.13 is where you want to buy this one. Quick question about the SMHs. Just keep them coming. path@tfnn.com, or you can put a message in the den. I seem to get a lot of emails. Okay. Again, this thing has never really given a signal or a break on the way back up. It still hasn't. We were looking at AMAT on Friday, and CLAC is the only ones that kind of gave some bad-looking signals. Still kind of interesting out here that you're not getting a lot of return juice on AMAT. Today we're up on 7 million shares compared to the kind of fairly big reversal signal of 27.4 million shares on Friday last week. That's why I always kind of a little bit worried about making plays on candles from options expiration day. But even candles going into the end of the year like this are very hard to play on the downside unless you get the market going with you. And that's it. Now, CLAC kind of had the same kind of candle on the same day. It's a little bit more out here, but again, volume today, 800,000 shares compared to the 1.7 million shares down on a Friday. So we continue to look at these being kind of interesting. Questions, take a quick look at UNG. Do I see anything changing out here? Well, you're down here with kind of light volume. This is exactly, if you're thinking these things are making ABCs on the way up, you gapped up on 18.6 million shares. You did that on the 6th. Yesterday, 6.6 million shares. Today, 5.6 million shares. As I say, I like to buy these things somewhere halfway into the gap, and you got that there today. We'll talk more about this when we come back.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And what do we have here? Okay. Okay. We were talking about natural gas. This 1122 with the latest 1121. Okay. Release time for the natural gas this week is tomorrow at noon, according to the schedule on the EIA. I'll pop it up here. And since I believe everything that I read on the internet, it says 12 at noon. Because, of course, the 23rd is Thanksgiving Turkey Day. So you probably, if you're going to be trading tomorrow, have an opportunity to take a look at this after the EIA numbers for natural gas. But if you're looking at it just as a chart pattern out here, you've got kind of a nice ABC. It did a 58% retrace. You're halfway into the gap, and you kind of, I guess, you're probably going to look at the 618 kind of as a close tomorrow. That if it was under that close, you may get lower prices. If this is an ABC, then maybe tomorrow that thing starts moving up. If it is an ABC, a 1-to-1, is $6.95. 1 to 5 1 is $7.34. So could be a nice little trade out here for natural gas. Now, if you go to the bigger ones, like I said, you've got a couple of things that are kind of interesting in this market, and that is this huge gap down that goes back to May 30th, down with 8.2 million shares. So that's probably going to be resistance. But that's also kind of where you start up in all these extended ABCs, like the 1 to 382, 1 to 15, and 1 to 618. So I kind of like it when these things, different time scales start setting up. I know a lot of people are interested in natural gas and trading it here. I don't know what Andy thinks. Maybe we'll hear from, it's 4 o'clock hour today with Tom, and of course at 5 o'clock tonight. But this would be, I think, kind of a nice low-risk trade for going into a weekend if you want to be and have something long on the shelf. I think you got kind of an interesting pattern out here. You're probably at some level of support. The vol, you got a doji yesterday, which means that you could be on the halfway down move. You're down a little bit. You didn't really pick up volume today. 5.6 million shares to what'd you have, 9.2 million shares back on the 14th. So when this thing kind of did come down, volume hadn't really been picking up, and you got kind of a nice little pattern out here with volume decreasing. You can look at volume tomorrow probably being even lighter. I don't know if I would play this before the EIA numbers at noon tomorrow, but that'd be an interesting trade. I think if those numbers came in and you started looking for the ABC up in that one. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and of course, you can put a message in the den. So we got a little bit farther. We looked at that. I wanted to look at some other stuff out here. Dolby Labs. This is another one of these companies that makes all its money pretty much on licensing. I was looking and just kind of saw that most of these licensing companies were at or close to recent highs and could break out. Kind of interesting to see this. Dolby Laboratories, September 13th, 59.79 with 3.8 million shares. Broke above it with very light volume back on October 5th, popped back down to October 30th. It's made yet another run out here. Today, just 271,000 shares. So kind of hard to see that this one is up here with more than anything or more than volume, but just hanging up at these highs. So see anything else out here? More questions on the IBB. Again, anything in a downtrend is probably going to be less strong in any kind of short squeeze. I still think that we could get to 320 on this thing. It's just kind of gone sideways for a few days, but a couple more days, you're probably going to get a little move back up to 320. I just don't see a lot to drive this back up to 342. So am I worried about the downside? Not really. I just sometimes think that maybe you've got enough sellers in some of these biotechs, somebody will take the losses. You don't have the huge short interest that I think it would take to get back up to 342.50 before the end of the year. And that's probably what it would take for me to take this trade. So we'll take a look at it. Okay. Question about looking at Avago, AVGO. Okay, now this one's back into the gap. This gap down on the 7th of November did so with 3.7 million shares. Again, you're up here with 1.3 million shares. So I'm not saying there's a lot of volume, but at the same time, it's hard to get these things to crack going into the end of the year. This thing's just kind of hanging out here, even with the news with Qualcomm. Continues to be one of these stocks that doesn't look like there's a whole lot happening in it or a whole lot that will happen before the end of the year. If Avago did prevail in buying out Qualcomm or coming up with some kind of deal, my guess is it's going to be for a lot more money, and then Avago will go to the downside. So if they get what they want, the stock probably goes lower. So it's kind of hard for me to get too excited about buying that. Let's take a look at Skyworks, SWKS. This one has been a lot weaker, went through the previous resistance at 110 and kind of hanging just below that. A little bit of odd man out in the Qualcomm Avago fight, but not a lot of volume either. This would be one that's close enough to the highs, although it did come down with volume on 8.2 million shares, that I could see start drifting back up to the highs. Even with the bad news in Apple today of them potentially hiring school children to build their iPhone 10s. Almost no reaction to that at all. So it's shucking off any kind of potentially bad news up to 173.70. My guess is that this one could drift up to 180 by the end of the year. 176.25 is the November 8th high with 34 million shares. 20 million shares today. Does volume really matter, as volume tends to tick off through the next 5 to 6 weeks and the end of the year? Not as much. And again, not a lot of people on the losing side of this trade, and that tends to mean that they'll sit on their hands till the end of the year. So we got, do we have enough time to look at some other ones real quick. No, I'm kind of going to the break here. We'll look at TLT when we come back and check out the dollar and wrap up the show for this week. Oh, I was a little early then. I just didn't want to try to pack it in this. Looks like gold's up about $5 at 12.80. We got natural gas off 2.5 cents. We got crude up 45 cents. Brent's up 38. We'll be back and wrap up the show.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets, right here on TFNN. Wow!
And question on whether you think we have a little ABC up in the TLT, and it kind of looks like it. So you've got 122.42 on the October 25th high. You go to the 7th, and the high is 126.78. You come back down on that big gap down on the 10th with 12 million shares. Now you're kind of just setting this up for that move. And you're probably going to have fairly strong resistance at 128.50. That's where that huge gap down is with 17.9 million shares. But I think you're kind of close enough to that. Even though this rolled off a little bit today and the volume wasn't a whole lot, my guess is you're probably going to see if this one drift in the direction of its movement. But probably 128.25. Doesn't look like it has the volume on the way up this time to blow through the high. But we'll have to see come next week of whether or not this thing does have any juice to get through that big down day of September 11th that had almost 18 million shares. And of course, today we're doing, 4.6 million shares. So there isn't a whole lot, but that doesn't mean it can't drift back up there to those highs and challenge at least that gap down. And at that point, we'll probably have a much better read on what the TLT is going to do. And one other one that I think we wanted to look at, that is on my list. Get back out here. Okay, 2.2 million shares. So volume is continuing to be rather weak as we go into the last hour of the show. This is stuck here at 2,600 on the S&P cash. See if there's anything else we want to look at. Talked about UNG. I kind of like that one. That was interesting. Anything else? I think that's about it. We're going to the end of the show here. But like I said, won't be here tomorrow or Friday where we're all closed. We'll be back Monday. And just sell when you can, not when you have to. And remember those Tiger dollars. And we'll be back Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time. Hang on for Tom O'Brien and Andy Heck later over most of TFNN.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.